guys, welcome back to Sparrow's Nest Farm. I realize it's been a few weeks since I've done a garden tour, and I wanted to get out here real quick and just show you what's going on. As I've mentioned before, I let the time slip away from me for fall gardening for some stuff, but I still have plenty of time for some of the other things that are not frost tender. So hopefully this weekend we'll get started planting some things. And I also wanted to kind of give an update on where I'm going from here, because obviously this is not the garden of my dreams. This is a garden that satisfied that need for me now. And I absolutely will be expanding, and it'll be much bigger next year, and probably expanding the year after that too, because one of the goals that we have is to produce on our land 80 to 90% of the food that we consume, which, because we don't eat grains really, and we do have enough room for pasture land. I mean, it's a good possibility. We would still need to bring outside things in, such as feed for animals, things like that. We don't have enough land to produce our own feed, but we do have enough land to grow the meat. And we do have enough land to do quite a lot of gardening and a lot of food production. So I will kind of give you a quick tour of what the plan is for that, but let me first show you how the garden is doing. Over the last few weeks, it hit a point where I was having a lot less pests. The tomato hornworms really went wild there for a while, but that's calmed down now too. The squash bugs have taken out every squash plant that I had, every one. And I think I had some vine borer too. I was finding grubs in there. I think they're vine borers. I need to look that up. But regardless, we got exactly one zucchini this year. That was it. And I actually took a little video before I picked it, so I'll have Whit throw that in here before we turn around. Here it goes. I also discovered this beauty. Our very first zucchini, which we will have for dinner tonight. Hello, gorgeous. So the green beans did really well. They're starting to die back just a little bit, but they were very prolific. I didn't really have enough to can from such a small space, but it's good. I'm very happy with it. These black turtle beans, they didn't grow up as much as I was hoping, but they did grow back quite a bit. And as you can see, the beans hanging here, they did very well. I'm watching these and I'm going to let them dry out. They look good. I have a few peppers on here. The peppers didn't do as well as I hoped, but to be fair, I did not realize that, there's a pepper. I did not realize that these turtle beans were going to bush the way they did. So I'm just looking for another pepper. There's one. Oops. All the peppers ended up really small. There's always next year. I've never been good at peppers, so. Swiss chard is banging. I am actually going to cut a bunch of that this weekend and dry it, because I make smoothies with kefir and frozen berries and greens, and having these dried greens that I grew will give me an organic source of greens through the winter. A lot of this has petered out. It looks terrible, and there's nothing I can do about it. Squash bugs really are my nemesis. Oh, this bee is mad. So this is the Cherokee Purple. I've gotten a few of them off of here. They are very delicious, but they did not get very big. I don't know why, but they just did not grow well. So I think this was my first year pruning, and I don't know if I'm going to do it again, just because I've never done it before, and I've always had really good production. I tried it this year to see if I could get bigger fruits, and that just didn't happen. So I might just go back to letting them bush out. I'm going to be growing differently next year, though, so. Now, this is the patio cherry, or supposed to be cherry, but those are at least saladette sized for the most part. Definitely not cherry tomatoes, and that grew so thick that half the time I couldn't see into it. I was having this was my worst plant for hornworms, because they could hide in there so easily. And it was so hard to get the fruit out because the clusters are so tight and so hidden that I was accidentally pulling not ripe fruit. So I don't think I'll grow this variety again. I will grow the Cherokee Purple again because I did really like the flavor. But this one, the flavor was only okay. Just, it was pretty prolific for its size, but just not great flavor. And I just didn't like the way that it grew so tightly packed. Mint, always good. This is the mortgage lifter, and as you can see, it grew really tall. As far as the plant itself, it's very healthy. The fruits are really delicious, but again, they just didn't get to a real big size that I was expecting. So any of you that are real good with tomatoes, if you can tell me why my tomatoes are not gaining in size like they should, I would be grateful, because all of my fruits this year have been so small. As you can see, I've got a blushing one here. Isn't that pretty? I'm getting a lot of cracking on the top of all of my tomatoes, but I think I was watering too much. Because they're in buckets, they lose moisture so quickly. Now, okay. I will grow those again, but I probably won't prune as heavily as I did this year. Those carrots have been there since spring. Most of them barely have any root on them, but they definitely made a really pretty addition to my buckets. They're very leafy, and I don't think I'll do this again just because I didn't really get anything out of it, but they do look pretty. Now, this is a cutting. This poor little thing it's not surviving. I tried rooting suckers to produce new plants, and I think I kept them inside too long, and then I didn't harden them off well enough when I brought them out, and it's just not doing well. It's got a little tomato on it, but the plant itself is just, I don't think it's going to make it, and I doubt it's going to really produce much, other than that one fruit, which I probably should just take off. The thyme, oh, that thyme did amazing. Look how pretty that plant is. And I may just take that whole bucket inside to overwinter. Speaking of plants that did amazing, this is Witt's cherry tomato plant, the Sun Gold or Sun Glow. And it got really tall and so prolific. I mean, it is heavy with fruits. We harvest a good handful every single day. And just look at that. That is so heavy. I will absolutely grow this every single year. We both really love them. It is Witt's favorite tomato. He's not really a big fan of raw tomatoes, but he'll eat these. And the plant is super healthy, so I will be saving seeds, and I will probably plant a couple of these next year. Looks good. So in the pools is where I'll be planting a lot of my fall crops, as well as here where you can see I tried to get some tomato plants going, and only one of them seems to be thriving. This one's got a little green on it. And that one doing okay. My sage looks great. I'll be planting beans, I think, in all of these once I get them all up. And I don't know what I'm going to plant in the tub right now. Probably more root crop. It is pretty out here. Some of my flowers actually did spring up, but didn't really do a whole lot. There's always next year. This is definitely not my favorite way of gardening, but it does work. And as with any endeavor, it's really important to just try things, learn from your mistakes. Always try and do better next time. Don't give up just because something doesn't work, or you will never learn how to make it work. Let's go say hi to the chickens and look at my wonky sunflower. So this is that volunteer sunflower, and it had that one really pretty head, and the rest of them have just been a little weird. The bees don't care. But look at this one. Some of them have been multiple blossoms all together. It did give me a couple more really pretty blooms over here, but most of them have just been funny looking, and oh, the bees are not happy with me. One of the things that we want to do is have our own honeybees, and apparently we've got some somewhere that are thriving, so. Okay, girls. Hi, girls. These girls are getting so big. They are not laying yet, but they should be getting close. You see all those tails popping up? That is a good sign. The tails popping up means they are about to start laying. Hi. They're wondering why I'm out here with no treats. As you can see, we had watermelon recently, and they got the rinds. They really liked that. And they got all of the hornworms, and they loved that. Hi, girls. All right, bye, girls. So this weekend, we plan to go and pick up some electric fence, and we're just going to put it at the edge of the coop here and kind of wrap it around in this direction. And they'll probably take that sunflower out. They will totally destroy that. But I don't know. I've always liked having free-range chickens, and even though this is plenty of space for them, just having them cooped up breaks my heart. So I can't do it anymore. So we're going to get some electric net, and that should keep predators off of them. Hopefully it'll keep them in. I am willing to clip their wings if necessary, just to get that done. So this area here is where we had our in-ground garden last year that didn't do well. This dirt is very heavy clay with bricks and concrete mixed in because it's all fill dirt. This whole property used to be a good 4 or 5 feet lower than it is, and somebody just brought in random fill dirt from when they were building streets in town. And so that's what all of this land is. It's awful. It doesn't grow well. So, well, other than the weeds, you can see the weeds are doing really well. And isn't that kind of pretty with those flowers? If you look out at the pasture, I don't know how well the camera picks it up, but there's a weed out there that has these beautiful, like, blue-purple flowers. And then, of course, the Canada thistle. It's just taken over. I'm hoping that next year we can get some more animals out here, but this year we decided to just take a break on animals. We've had so many things happening and so much still coming. The animals require a lot more work, a lot more attention. So we're taking a break this year, and hopefully next year I would really like to get my goats again and get my own goat's milk. But anyways, this is where I'm going to be building raised beds for next year, along the fence line here, probably a few feet out from the fence line so that animals that are in there aren't reaching it. I'm going to build some long beds running this way and put berries, and then I don't know exactly how I'm going to put the beds in here, but I'm going to be building beds all the way through here. And then over here where you can see that those flowers stopped, I'm going to be putting a greenhouse there. We have some ideas of how we want to build it. We're going to do it similar to how we built the chicken hoop coop with the tractor, or not the tractor, the cattle panels. But we're going to build it up a little higher and make it a little wider so that we can build tables in there. And that'll just be over here, so that'll mimic what you're seeing. And then probably beyond that is where I will expand the garden further the following year. So it'll have the greenhouse here. Boy, I wish we lived further away from traffic. We'll have the greenhouse here, and then beyond it in this area here, we'll have more garden beds, but that won't come until like 2022. This year we will build these ones for 2021. We still haven't finished taking down these junipers. This tree is going to stay. I love this tree. But all these junipers are going to go. And what you probably can't tell from the video is this is actually a hill that it's kind of level up to about here. And then the hill goes up to the front of our yard over there. And there's a flat space up at the front of the yard. But I want to use this hill area to put in grapes. Whit has always wanted to grow his own grapes, and that's kind of something I wanted to do too. So we're going to use that area for that. And let's see here. As you can see, we've got quite a few of these junipers to take out. We took that first one mostly down, but haven't finished it because we just got so many projects. And I don't know if other homesteaders have this problem or not, but we have project ADD sometimes, where we get something started and then we get something else started and then we get something else started, and pretty soon we've got like 15 projects that are partially done. So one of our goals this year was to try and complete the projects that we start, and we're failing. We'll get there, but we're failing. All right, let's walk up to the front. I want to show you up in this front area where the yard flattens out. This is also not good growing ground. It's clay and sand, oddly, and just, it's not great dirt. And we had orchard trees planted here, but because of the disease that the junipers have, the fungus, they have not survived, and they're pretty much all gone now. Even that's, I don't know if you can see the stick here. That was a tree and it's dead. But my other plan for this area, besides the orchard trees, which I'm gonna replant this as an orchard once the junipers are gone. And I'm actually gonna take out, those are lilacs. They're in there, but they're half dead. They don't really bloom much. They're just kind of taking up space. And there's actually a walnut tree growing up in the middle of that one. So they gotta go. But anyways, I had been planning on building a bunch of these low raised beds and putting berries in all of them. But as you can see, that bed's not really doing well. And the reason is there is no spigot out on this side of the house. I would have to run 3 50-foot lengths of hose to get over here or carry buckets, which I was carrying buckets at first, but that just has not continued as things have progressed. And I had been hoping that I could just keep these alive long enough that I could build a bed out back and move them, but I don't think that that is even going to be possible. I think they might be gone. So this fall, this bed will get taken out, and I will try transplanting. These two are blackberries. They're thornless blackberries. I'll try transplanting those, and any baby raspberries I can find, I'll try and transplant, but I think I'm just going to be buying all new in the spring. Hey, so we were just editing this video and realized I talked a long time.
She does that.
So we're going to cut it off here, and it was kind of an awkward cough, but we're going to cut it off here and make a part 1 and part 2 of this garden update. So stay tuned for the next part. Have a good day, y'all.
The Lord bless you and keep you.